love, saying the word love, like saying the word thank you, or saying peace, they all have charge, but they only have charge when there's something behind them. So when it falls flat, when someone says, I love you, right after you've said to them, yeah, I'm not experiencing what I'd like to see in this relationship. And they're like, but I love you. It's the same kind of expression that we get from people who are like, you should believe the invisible because I'm saying it and there's not quite enough power, as you said, or energy and emotion to support my claim. Welcome to Call for the Truth. I'm LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun. And we are here to have a discussion with you today about making your love visible. We hope that you will join us in this discussion. But before we begin, Tarvars, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Yes, most certainly. So we encourage you all to join us in the call for the truth. Should we call forth the frequency of truth to come forward? Should we call to see the truth in all that we see? Should we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Should we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Should we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? And we are here in the truth, and we encourage you all to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you'd like to continue the pursuit of embodiment of truth. So we're talking about making your love visible.
Yes.
So apparently love is cloaked out here. Love isn't even, where is it? Nobody's seen it.
Yeah.
What inspired you to bring this forth today?
I think the idea that it's such a cliche, so many people use the words I love you so often, and sometimes it's so heartfelt and I'm so grateful to receive it. It's such a wonderful thing for someone to say. In other cases, it's like I can't quite see how those words represent the relationship. So I want to talk about this idea so that we can see all of the many ways in which we can make our love for someone visible, or our love for our work, or our love for our children. How do we make it visible so it has multidimensional layers of more benefit, more nutrient, more substance
Yes.
than just I love you. And there's really it feels like it doesn't really have anything with it.
Empty, flat, soda
Yes.
pop,
Yes.
kombucha that's been out on the counter with the
Yes.
cap open.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would say action. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, what's the action that's associated with your love? Can I see the motion, the inner, because love is an emotion, right? Energy and motion of your love. Where is the evidence?
Yes.
And I think this is something that's definitely worthy of bringing forth because usually when we hear it, now first off, I've heard this when people are desperate, right? When they're falling out of grace, and then they'll pull out, but I love you, I love you, and it's like a last ditch effort to try to reel you in to make sure that you're not slipping from them. But even in that case, it's again definitely, where's the love? I haven't seen it. It's just a saying with the hopes of it will penetrate and make them reconsider how they're
Gain
engaging.
favor, that you'll somehow gain something by using the words the word itself has a charge. Love, saying the word love, like saying the word thank you, or saying peace, they all have charge, but they only have charge when there's something behind them. So when it falls flat, when someone says, I love you, right after you've said to them, yeah, I'm not experiencing what I'd like to see in this relationship. And they're like, but I love you. It's the same kind of expression that we get from people who are like, you should believe the invisible because I'm saying it and there's not quite enough power, as you said, or energy and motion, emotion to support my claim. So I want to just make sure I say it. I'm going to actually write it in big letters. I'm going to type it in bold. Will you, with that, will you have more impact if I type it in bold? All right. What if I got an airplane to to
I don't
say?
know if my face was showing how I feel inside. I feel like it is, but I want to go back to what you were saying. Believe in the invisible.
Yes.
It's like that Santa Claus stuff.
It's
Have no
exactly like
evidence.
that.
Yeah, no evidence.
Yes. And so I think we often are guilty of having not enough charge to what we say, and especially when we use such strongly powered words like peace and gratitude or thank you and love, that there should be more expression behind it. It should be deeper. And we can see that when people do things they love to do, when an artist loves to paint. We can see it, whether we like the art or not, we can see it in their passion or their purpose. And so love should fit into those kinds of frameworks of passion and purpose. When I see how you teach your students and how you do many of your tasks, I have seen you grow into making sure that the details are done, making sure you take the extra effort, making sure that you do it even if you're tired, making sure that the students get what they need, making sure to the best of your ability, you're delivering to them the thing you love. And so I see that in the way that you operate. And I think that makes love visible. So the people who are interacting with you can see it. And this is a good experience for all to be had, that no matter what you're doing, there's a famous quote from Martin Luther King, of all people, who says that if you sweep the floor, sweep it like Michelangelo. Like, be about to sweeping that floor.
Yeah.
Be the artist, the genius of doing that. Well, that's how we all want to be loved. We all want to be loved like you're Michelangelo. We all want to have that, but we also need to learn to convey it, that there is so much that we can just give one another that doesn't require anything outside of ourselves but our authenticity.
Mm.
That gives us that. So, I've recently talked to you about the fact that recent science has noted the frequency of authenticity is much higher than love. So, can you imagine what it would be like if you mixed your authenticity with your love? It might become visible in your
Oh, I can
experience.
see that. It'll start sprouting up and
Yes,
breaking through the cement.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That the idea of, that beautiful visual you just said, the blade of grass breaking through the cement, that's love.
Yeah.
That's energy and motion. That's dedication and focus. That's purpose and direction.
So
Everything is better with those things.
I agree. But what about when they don't have that? The contrast, the opposite. Like, would you speak a little bit about the soul that withholds the love in action? That expressing the love, making the love visible. Um, is it even possible to do? Like, is it even there in some cases?
I think I've spoken about this before, but I'm so clear. I will not live a life that I will regret anything. I have determined that I'm just not going to live that life. I will do the things, live the life where there will be no regret. However, I can see that had I not chosen the path I'm on, that I might have regretted withholding love in some situations by being resentful or angry or upset about something that uh, helped me create an identity where I became the withholder, where my identity was one where I was not able to give freely, where generosity was not part of my bandwidth. I can see that most of us have lived lives like that. Where unless we decide, I don't want to find myself in the next dimension thinking, I should have not withheld love from, that person when they were 10.
Yeah.
What, because that's, it's so funny. I often think of, we live in a world where there's lack and we live in a world where there's scarcity. But there's really no reason for there to be scarcity in how much love and attention you will give a person. That's not a commodity that you run out of. You don't run out of, I can look at you. You don't run out of, I'm listening to everything you say. You don't run out of, I'm paying attention to what you're doing. You don't run out of, I heard every word. You don't run out of that.
Well, I'm over here wondering because I can see the truth of that, but then I also see people who don't have the attention span to listen, to engage, to do all the things that you say where it looks like their cup's empty. And that's why I prefaced where it seems like there's varying levels of this
Of
where
course.
people who maybe they do have some love, but they have difficulty with expressing it because of moments of feeling like, oh, you know what, I'm not going to show it. I'm going to withhold it. And just like the example you just shared. And then some who don't even got it. It's like not the cup got droplets, maybe moisture, condensation on the inside of the cup.
And there's so many, we are so much bigger than our experiences, so many past lives, there's so much entanglement with our ancestry. There's so many traumas that have happened that traumatize us into not speaking, not telling, not sharing. If I tell them this, then they'll take advantage of me. That's maybe what people say. My response to that is decide to not regret not loving.
Mm.
Decide to make your love visible. You have the opportunity to love again and to continue to love, or to withdraw your love. You have all of those opportunities. It's not like once you throw someone a love ball, it can never come back, or that you don't have any more. You
Yeah.
know, it's that it's that invisible commodity that I can show you through my adoration, through my attention, through my reverence, and through my respect every day how much I have concern for you. I can speak to you in a way where I'm constantly showing you that I'm acknowledging you. I can, it's a small thing. You can open a door. You can say yes, sir. You can say yes, ma'am. You can do things that show levels of reverence. And there's a scale and there's levels to this.
Mm-hmm.
But none of that has to be done. All of that is, I won't say it's extra, but it's in the pot of leaning towards love and reverence.
Would you
Yeah.
speak a little on the idea of people cultivating that love in order to give it? Because I can see, looking at my own self, you gave examples earlier of how I am with the students, how I am with you and others, and even my task, my daily work, and it comes from within. It's like I'm loving on myself enough to be able to have it to share and express in the action. So would you elaborate, like, how do we get there? Because I can see where the lack of love and action is a contributing factor to where humanity finds ourselves right now.
Yes, the cultivation of it really begins with our children. When we cultivate you can't love the children too much. There's a separation between being too not having enough boundaries or not
Mm.
having enough parameters, but in terms of the love itself, you can't do it too much. You can't love them too much because then they will grow up wanting and being and able to express love. So most of us have had varying levels of what could be called love
Yeah,
and could be called some other things. you know,
indeed.
and we're trying to be well adjusted in our lives in a balanced way based on our cultivation. But there's nothing that stops us from deciding, I will cultivate myself if my parents have not. There's nothing that stops us from deciding, I'm going to look for people who are, I'm going to attract into my field through my generosity of spirit the kind of circumstance that I will receive, because ultimately the ones who are the richest are the ones who love the most. Not that idea of you need to give me something because I did something for you when you were a baby. Not that.
It's horrible.
We're not
It's
calling
like,
that
pay
love.
up.
We're not calling
It's
that
my
love.
term.
But the idea of loving the experience that you have had through Source Creator that allows you to have the richness of, when you open your eyes, what you see. I'm looking out the windows and I'm seeing trees and I'm seeing leaves and I'm seeing nature and I'm seeing animals. The richness of that has been so um, diminished by us because what's shiny is our phones. So the phone won't give you love. The phone's not going to give you back love. It's going to give you broken in a couple of years and another $1,200. It's going to give you reason to feel like you're never going to be able to hold your attention because you're constantly looking at something that is popping up or moving or is tantalizing your brainstem. And so time in nature, watching animals with each other, watching mothers with mother animals with baby animals, watching humans who are matriculating the process of nurturing. All of these things will ignite in you. We're coded for this.
Yeah.
We're coded for being together, loving each other, harmonizing.
It's making me think about children, seeing a visual of children don't have things like hate and strong dislikes. It's like learned behavior over time. There's this
Yes.
open curiosity and connectivity, lack of fear, very pure until, of course, the ways of the world and society get a hold of them, or past life stuff start kicking in. That isn't rectified by
Yeah.
the space that is held for from the parents. But I see your point where it does start when we're children, and then the necessity to rectify it, if which is the likelihood that most of us grow up in homes where um, varying degrees of love or fragments of what we understand to be as love, which are masked in the forms of suffering, uh, is what we understand and what we're left with, and having to kind of remake who we are, create this new
Yeah.
identity of really what love is, and familiarize ourselves with the more pure form of that frequency as you exemplified within like the nurturing process.
The idea of creating a new identity is so exciting, that we are designed to be new in every moment. Every new moment is an opportunity to be new. The idea of having a new earth, having a new human, having a new self, I think is very exciting because we see what the old self looks like. So we already know what that story looks like. We know what our parents look like. We know what our grandparents look like. We know what our neighbors look like. We are on the precipice of being able to move into a new experience that will be challenging and exciting. But why did you come to Earth? Did you come to Earth to just live in the basement and eat pizza? And be on the internet? That's not why you're here. For those who are not here for that. And those who are here for that, okay.
Have at it.
Yes. So it's so exciting that we can have this conversation about, I can make my love visible. I can love what I do so much that I convey it to you through talking about the things that we do, the work that we do about the sun, the things that it has produced. You are a product of what has been produced by of the sun. It has happened because you've been cultivated appropriately to get to wherever you are now, and we'll see wherever else that's going to take all of us. And this is something we can all do. We can think of our children from the point of view of, we don't have to withhold love, but we should also not withhold discipline or structure either.
Every financial crisis has one winner. It's not crypto, it's not stocks, it's not real estate, it's gold. In every financial crisis, there's one asset that always comes out on top. Not because it skyrockets overnight, but because it never dies. Stocks crash, currencies collapse, property markets freeze, but gold, it keeps buying the same value as it did 100 years ago. Look at history. 1929, 1971, 2008. The people holding gold weren't panicking, they were shopping. They had liquidity when everyone else was broke. The winner in a crisis isn't the one with the most cash. It's the one holding what cash runs to when it's scared. When the next crisis hits, you'll either watch your savings melt or you'll be the one buying gold at a discount.
There must be this idea of I love you, and this is how you can show me love. That not taking care of the things that would make infestations in our house is not showing me love.
Yeah.
Not cleaning, not taking care of the bathtub, not washing the dishes. That is not a way to make your love visible. One way to make your love visible would be to make sure we all live in a pristine, clean environment, or that you're considerate, you have consideration. So today, someone came to visit and didn't mention anything, but I saw they bought me candy bars. And they never mentioned it, but I did see it, and I was so warmed by it, and I see that as love being made visible. I say, oh, look at that. It's not that I need a gift or that I'll even eat a candy bar. It might be once a month before I would do such a thing. But the impact of what was done was so clear and so free and so giving that we can decide, even if we have had lifetimes where, we're still mad at our mother because she told us something, or we're mad at our father or the teacher or whoever it is that we're pointing the finger at. You still have time to, point the finger back to you and decide to be the gift that is the love made visible. It's a wonderful thought.
Indeed.
So, did you have anything else with that? You ready to
It's-
pull a card?
Yeah, I'm ready to pull a card. I'm just really marinating on what you're sharing about love and consideration and boundaries, and it's really bringing me to the space of love is it sounds so cliche, but when they say you can't give what you don't have, and the necessity to show yourself that love, even the simple example that you shared about the consideration to make sure space is kept up for others, and you have to want to do that with your own things first.
Yes.
And so sometimes these things it's in some cases silly to expect certain aspects of love from other people who they clearly aren't doing or loving on themselves. And I can also see some cases require teaching, like educating people.
That are willing
Love
to learn.
re-education. Yeah, that are willing to learn. That part right there. So people are like, no, I don't want to love. She's trying to make me love. I don't want to. And I have to put forth action. I have to show it. You're asking for too much, LaOta.
Well, and actually, that seems to be the name of the game for me.
Yeah. You're asking these humans too much to be great, huh?
But I love what you said about it really boils down to, are you willing to love yourself in an environment where you think there's not enough love, where there's scarcity, where you were raised with less than in the love poverty? And are you willing to bless yourself with an abundance of love, prosper within the love that you have, and give yourself, ingratiate yourself with love? Then automatically you gain more that you can give. And the card is?
First off, it's green for the heart chakra. We harmonize. Divine. Only in oneness will we see the divine creation principles within ourselves and call back our balance of the masculine and feminine from within. I feel like elaborating on this would take us to a whole nother podcast.
Well, I mean, it's certainly the idea of a new identity. We weren't taught this in this world, but the idea that we should embrace both the divine masculine and feminine is love of self. We are one.
I'm thinking of the characteristics, and the
Mm-hmm.
most mundane way is an act of giving and
Yes.
receiving, exchange. The polarities working together, not clashing as people speak in distortion, but they're harmonized when we allow them to be.
Yes. Yeah, I'm thinking of the characteristics of the feminine, the divine feminine. The structure is freedom.
Mm.
The protection is love. And the practice is devotion. That can be given to all of us internally and externally to others. Those beautiful experiences, that is who the divine feminine is. And in the divine masculine, we have integrity, discipline, and action, which we would all like to see more of in that aspect of self. you know. So it's internal as much as it's external.
Certainly.
So that could be made visible, and the card is brilliant. So thank you. We hope you have enjoyed our discussion, our short discussion today about making love visible in your own experience. We give you the greetings of In Lak'ech and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude. Thank you.